Yo, what it is, my gamers, and I was gonna say the N word. I was like, oh wait, it's too early to the episode. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Tom Ziri. Welcome back to episode 102 of the weekly patch notes from X to Skip. I've got with me Maxwell. He's back. What's good, Max?
Yo, you could have said my gamers and my naggers.
Yeah, but my brain quickly just went to street, bro. Then I was like, I don't want to get into shit. And with us we got Kid Kojo. What's good, homie?
Yo, what's up, man?
Nah, we good, bro. Good in the hood. Week was terrible, bro, with work. Yo, my lord. But anyways, besides that, we up in the gaming world. Guys, welcome to another show. If you could please support us by giving us a like and subscribe. We promise we're funny. But you know what it is. Every week we give you the gaming tidbits, everything that's going on in the gaming world. So before we get started, does anyone have any announcements or updates?
That's a good question. Nah, for now it's all good.
All right, Kojo?
Nah, none.
Okay, my only update is, flipping Schedule 1, guys, in its breakout sale, has sold more than a few AAA games. This game was literally just made by two roommates in Australia, where you just deal plants, you know what I'm saying? You deal gardens and shrubs to peeps in their neighborhood. You become a kingpin. The controls are simple. The graphics are just so simple. The animation's like simple. But like the game is addictive AF. Anyways, if you don't know about it, Chumi, I don't know what to tell you. It's affordable too. Anyways, right, going into the gaming news. Max, what's been happening, bro?
All right, so the news this week has been dominated by, obviously, the biggest thing that happened in the week, which is the Switch 2 direct or showcase or presentation or whatever you want to call it. Basically, I'm not going to dive too deeply into this because we're going to have a discussion about it, which people can check out the discussion. But to go surface level on the matter, it's basically a good amount of people were excited for what Nintendo had to show with regards to the Switch 2. Where people like the games are looking good, the hybrid console itself is looking like an improvement, until Nintendo revealed crazy ass prices related to this thing, and Nintendo basically shat the bed by themselves. Where the Switch 2 price, they are going to be two prices for it. There's a Japanese local price, which goes around $334. Then there's the international price, which goes around $450. And I was upset about that price, but apparently if you get the Japanese Switch 2, you're going to be region locked, where you can only buy Japanese stuff. So I guess that justifies the lower price. I don't know really. And then games now are going to be all over the place, where some games are going to be selling for $90, some games are going to be selling for $80, some $70, some $60. And that's where people are pretty upset with the price of a hybrid console and with the price of a game. There've been a lot of mixed reception, and then in hindsight now people are looking back at the presentation and saying, you know what, maybe it really wasn't all that good. I mean, with all the games that were now, those games you can play them on other consoles, and you've been able to play them on other consoles for years. Outside of a Nintendo first party games, blah dee da. I just think it's a shit show, and there's a lot of areas where I have complaints. But again, for people to see our deeper perspective into that, they should check out the discussion on the Switch shitting the bed, or Nintendo shatting the bed, whichever you want to prefer. Is it too early to say shit? Anyway, whatever.
What? No.
That's that for the Nintendo Switch news. Again, check out the discussion to hear more about it, to hear our thoughts about it, to hear a bigger deep dive into it. And then the other thing which I want to mention in terms of news It's a small little thing. This might get Kojo happy if he hasn't heard about it already. But supposedly, Netflix has greenlit another season for what the hell is that game called? What's that CD Projekt Red game with the
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk? That's the one. Yes, a new season has been greenlit.
Oh shit.
How is that gonna work?
I have no idea. I also saw that. I'm like, okay, maybe this one will be based on the DLC or something.
No, doubt it. But anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's it on the news front. Don't know if you guys have anything else you guys would like to share.
Nah. Kojo, anything from your side?
Nah, yes. One thing. So, have you guys ever heard of a little game called Tekken 8?
Nigga, little game. Yes.
Yeah, so Tekken 8 came out, was it last year? Really amazing game. Everybody loved it and everything. Cool. Everything's all sunshine and roses. Until recently, where people were anticipating, season 2, the season 2 update, and then it came out and then everybody hates it. And people are threatening to walk away from the game. So basically what happens is Tekken 8 right now, well, before the patch, was a defensive type of game. And the developers promised to keep it that way until season 2 update, which has made the game more oppressive and offensive. And people are like, this does not feel like Tekken at all. So yeah, people are in uproar. Guess what the reviews are sitting at currently on Steam, guys?
61%, mostly negative.
Yeah, pretty much, Tommy. So it's currently sitting at all reviews have now turned to mixed, and recent reviews are overwhelmingly negative. All because of one update. Man, gamers, I like how gamers just review bomb things when they don't like things.
Yeah, telling the truth. Yeah,
I guess it shows and it works. Because Tekken 8 developers, Bandai Namco, have released or are planning to release an update. This is what they said, and I quote: "Fighters, we are aware of the current community feedback regarding Tekken 8 Season 2. We are carefully reviewing the balance of the game. Expect more information about these changes soon. In addition, an emergency patch will be released in April to adjust the following issues." End quote. And this emergency patch has had some character changes for Paul and Jack 8. And people are, So if people want to go find out more about Tekken 8 and the issues, it's pretty much just because the game, they've changed the play style and people don't like it. And one content creator / player of Tekken, Jess Andy, said, and I quote, "I don't know if I'll continue playing Tekken if this patch stays. I'm sorry for doom posting, but I thought it had a chance to be a better game. I'm just really sad, like depressed. I streamed 70 hours of Tekken this past week to prep for season 2, just to have those hopes shattered. Good night," end quote. And he's not the only one. A lot of people have been streaming hella hours of Tekken in preparation for season 2 just to be disappointed. So hopefully Bandai will do something about it. And yeah, that's it from my news.
Man, they ain't gonna do shit. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any gaming news on my side. And that brings us to the gaming corner. What releases have come out, bro?
Ooh-yee. Absolutely nothing.
What? Not even like an indie game.
So there's a game called Koira, PC, PS5, adventure game, April 1st, 2025, currently sitting at an 84 on Metacritic. And then next game up, we have a game that was beloved by some, derided by others, but it is a PC re-release of that game. And of course, I'm talking about the masterpiece or the complete train wreck, depending on who you ask. That is The Last of Us Part 2. So, this game is an action-adventure shooter survival game. If you don't know about the Last of Us series, yeah, you're sleeping under a rock. But released on April 3rd, and it is currently sitting at, guess what score, Tommy?
86.
Okay, Maxwell?
75.
Tammy is the closest, 87.
Damn.
Yep. And that is it for the releases of the week in the gaming corner. What about you guys?
Nah, nothing for me. Max?
Oh, there's one game which I've been interested about, but Kojo will say it hasn't released yet. The reviews are out for it, but I suppose the game itself hasn't released for the common folk to put their hands on it, which is South of Midnight. So I'm not going to say anything about it since the game proper hasn't come out.
Oh, yes. That reminds me, you weren't here last week, Maxwell. So I was talking to Tom about the game that you were deriding. Remember the first Berserker Kazan?
Yeah, supposedly it's a pretty good game, but I don't care. Like, my issue with the game when I saw it, and I recall vividly saying this, I said the combat looks good, but that's about it. The world looks empty. It doesn't look like there's anything to do. And I'm pretty certain that has stuck, where the combat is probably pretty polished, but what the fuck else is there for that game?
Bars.
We'll just wait for you to play it and then you'll tell us.
Nah, I challenge anyone else who thinks the game is good to tell me outside of a combat what are the highlights of that game, because I saw a lot. I think it got like 83, 82, or in the 80s, low 80s, but I think anyone who loves that game will struggle to talk about what they love about it outside of a combat. And for me, it just reinforces my my analysis of a game of cool. Combat wise, it can be great, but it's not just about the combat, it's also other areas. There's what's that other game which looks like an FF ripoff, a Final Fantasy ripoff, not Expedition 33. There's another one which looks like a proper Final Fantasy ripoff, and that game looks far better. Where I'll research it and find out what it is later. But
Black Desert Online?
Other games have more filled out worlds, and I think that's important.
Okay. But yeah, so that's, I just want to side note that. More side notes, these are not gaming, well, it's gaming related, so I'll just quickly go through it. So the first thing I want to mention is the Devil May Cry Netflix adaptation of the Devil May Cry, well, inspired by the Devil May Cry games. It's currently sitting at guess what on Metacritic, Maxwell?
People are dick riding that, so I'm gonna say 79.
79? Tamer.
Wait, on Netflix?
Yep.
Yo, 83.
Okay, Maxwell's the closest, 77.
Hmm.
So, the next thing I want to talk about is a Minecraft movie, which is actually called a Minecraft movie. Seeing as nobody's really familiar with Rotten Tomatoes, we'll move on to Metacritic score then. Tommy, guess its Metacritic score.
39%.
39 on Metacritic. Maxwell, Metacritic score?
45.
Okay. Maxwell's the closest, currently sitting at a 49 on Metacritic. And now, moving on to Rotten Tomatoes, based on 73 critic reviews, the audience reviews are not out yet. It's just critics. Guess its Rotten Tomatoes critic score. Maxwell first this time.
52.
Okay. Tommy?
Yeah. 48.
Okay. I guess I owe Maxwell something now. It's currently sitting at a 52.
Hey.
Wow, what the hell?
So, yeah, that is a Minecraft movie. Tommy, let's go see this movie, man.
Nah, I'm okay. It's got Jack Black in it.
Wow, damn. Okay. I guess we're not gonna see a Minecraft movie.
Is Jack Black in it?
Yeah, he is in it, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, I got nothing.
Man, I feel like we are not giving enough attention to the fact that I got the numbers spot on.
Okay, well, yeah, Kojo said it will give you something.
Yeah, man. No, like they are 100 numbers to choose them. That's a 1 in 100.
God, nigga.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
have to get it
God.
Okay. I would say this.
Oh,
Congratulations, Maxwell. But Tommy has guessed it correctly like 3 times in this podcast.
Yes, in Metacritic, like Metacritic games are always hovering in the 70s or 100. There's like 30 options. I've never ever looked at Rotten Tomato score, so I'm literally pulling shit out of my ass.
Okay, fine. That is something to be applauded. That's the right word, if my English serves me correctly. So congratulations. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for my corner. What about you guys?
I got skeletons in my corner. Nah, I got nothing. Max?
Nope.
All right. That brings us to the halfway section. If you guys are liking this so far, please do leave a like and subscribe. Okay, moving on to the content creator side. Okay, this is not a it's not exactly about a specific content creator. It's more about where they stream from. Yeah, if I can say. So anyways, so it turns out Twitch has been charging people on subscriptions to streamers that are permabanned, and they've been doing this for years. So that's hilarious, because this is why when I stopped streaming, I told people, please unsubscribe, because I don't know when I'm coming back, and please don't forget, because they will continue to take your cash. So yeah, I mean, not everyone can account for human error, Shem, or forgetfulness. Some people are probably not there on your stream, hearing you say that, but this is just for everyone right now who still wonders why there's like a $5 charge coming out of their card, or whatever. Please unsubscribe if you're not gonna watch a person on Twitch or whatever, like religiously. And then if they get perma-banned, lost that cash, bro, unsubscribe. But yeah, anyways, there's a help page on account enforcements and ban states, saying that if you're indefinitely suspended, you will not be able to utilize Twitch monetization tools during your suspension, and existing recurring subscriptions to your channel will not renew. Now, we all know as streamers, we know that clause. But yeah, they're still doing it. So, and then Twitch is still taking that revenue as well, even if you permabanned. So, shame, poor Johnny Somali. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Let's go with Max. Max, you got anything first?
Wow, that is different. I would just say the only thing is I briefly, and you guys will have more to share on this, but I briefly saw that Kai Cenat had got hacked into.
Oh, yeah.
On his Twitch, and you guys can elaborate on that area if there's anything more to say on that, because I don't really follow Kai Cenat, so I just saw the topic and I was like, okay, that's cool, and moved on. And then the other one is iShowSpeed, where he's touring China, where he's doing his normal shenanigans, but just in China.
I saw him pose with LC signs. I'm so glad you got to meet that guy in person. LC, oh, bro.
LC sign, and he gave him some dope signs too.
Oh, the meme guy.
Yeah, love that dude. But yeah, no, the Kai Cenat thing, man. At the end of the day, man's super rich. Like, unless he's got shit on Duke Dennis, I mean, I think he's gonna be okay. Matter of fact, he even made a video where he got a hacker to try hack his computer. I don't know if this is staged, so I don't know. We'll see. At this point, I don't know if it's real, dog. Like, honestly, like.
Yeah, funny enough, you saying you don't know if it's staged or whatnot. It links to something I was complaining to Kojo about Kai Cenat, where I was comparing iShowSpeed and Kai Cenat, where I was like, look, I don't follow either one, but if I was ever to follow one, I would sooner follow iShowSpeed than Kai Cenat, because iShowSpeed, what you get for me feels more genuine, whereas Kai Cenat, it's more staged up. This is what he wants you to think or see or feel, whereas iShowSpeed is like, you can make up your opinion or your mind about what he does, but he actually goes out there in the elements and reacts to real live things, to real people, all of that stuff. He's not in a room controlling his environment and making sure, okay, this is what I want everyone to get out of this, unlike Kai Cenat.
No, true. That's not that showmanship, bro. Like,
Yeah, no, I was telling Kojo that if I was forced to trust one of them, it would not be Kai Cenat. I wouldn't trust Kai Cenat with a 10-foot pole. Aisha Speed, on the other hand, he'll probably screw things up, but I'll be like, at least I knew what I was getting into when I was dealing with him.
and then there's a random backflip, and then yeah, all is good.
And Ronaldo's better. Yeah.
Either way, yeah, I don't have anything more on that. Kojo, you got more on Kai Cenat, or you got any other content creator news?
Well, I've got both actually. So just one quick thing about Kai Cenat. A lot of people now are calling for him to be banned on Twitch because he was using his phone while driving.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a lot of people have been banned for that. Aiden Ross was banned for that, I think, back in 2021. This past few months, a streamer called SFan, part of OTK, co-founder of OTK, was also banned for something similar. If you recall, a Twitch streamer, I think she was Russian, a few years back, she drove over a dog.
Damn.
While she was live streaming and on her phone. But the dog survived, I think.
Yeah, but still.
And she was perma-banned. So yeah, it's a big issue. People are calling for Kai Cenat to be banned. As for the recording of this episode, that hasn't happened yet. Now, moving on to other news, let's quickly talk about video game player of the century, Billy Mitchell. So for those who don't know who Billy Mitchell is, he's the self-proclaimed video game player of the century. He has records in old school Pac-Man and old school Donkey Kong. And some people have come out and, provided evidence that he was cheating. So some of his Guinness World Records and his Twin Galaxies records have been stripped, but some of his records have been reinstated. It's a whole mess. But he recently sued a YouTube content creator, Carl Jobst, who does like speedrunning videos and that sort of stuff, but also talks about cheaters quite a bit. He recently sued him for defamation. Tell me, I know you don't know the story, so I'm just going to ask Maxwell. Maxwell, do you know why he sued him, actually?
Man, it's been so long. Maybe I've lost all of that, but I believe it's because Jobst kept saying certain stuff about him, and he just started saying that this is defamation, is untrue, or things like that. I don't really remember, since it's been that long.
So yeah, the Maxwell's pretty much right. That's pretty much what happened. So I thought, and I was checking Reddit, and a lot of people also thought that it was because he was being sued because Carl Jobst has called Billy Mitchell a cheater in many videos and in many on social media and all of that stuff. That's what we all thought. And Carl Jobst also, I forgot about this. He also crowdfunded his legal fees. So some fans donated to his legal fees. So it turns out that is not why he was being sued. He was being sued for defamation because Carl Jobst insinuated that Billy Mitchell caused the death and unaliving/suicide of another YouTuber called Benjamin Smith, also known as Apollo Legend. So I didn't know that. I thought, because the way Carl Jobst made it seem like, he's being sued by Billy Mitchell because Billy Mitchell bad. Billy Mitchell is suing me because I called him a cheater. Because Billy Mitchell is suing everybody these days, So I thought that was what happened, but no, it turns out that he's being sued because he being Carl Jobst insinuated that because Apollo Legend had to pay some legal fees or had to pay some compensation to Billy Mitchell, it caused him to unalive himself. And Billy Mitchell felt physically sick at those allegations, so he sued Carl Jobst and he won. Billy Mitchell won.
With that in effect, because when I heard the Billy Mitchell won, I was like, how? But because I knew it was defamation, but I didn't know what the specific defamation was. And I saw after the fact that it was something about suicide, but I didn't know it was the suicide of somebody else. I thought it was Billy Mitchell saying these thoughts, what Jobst was saying had me feeling suicidal. But if it's about another YouTuber, then Jobst was stupid to do that, because I can see how Billy Mitchell would have won, because Yobs doesn't know the situation with the YouTuber. He's making assumptions, and those are dangerous assumptions to be making. And he has a platform, so he's making those assumptions to a wider range of people, which could generate ill will to Billy Mitchell. So I can see how Mitchell would win that case. Then the second thing with regards to that is, what the flip was the second thing? I've lost the second thing. So Toja, you can go ahead. If it comes back to mind, I'll mention it.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much so. Carl Jobs has been ordered to pay back, or to pay Billy Mitchell $350,000 plus interest, and so Carl Jobs is Australian, Billy Mitchell is American, and
Wait. Quick question: with those dollars, are those American bucks or Australian dollaroos?
I believe those are pure freedom bucks, if that makes sense. So American currency.
God damn.
Yeah.
I remembered what the second thing is. So the second comment I was going to make is, it kind of comes across as sinister from Jobs then if he didn't elucidate what the topic area is on his videos, because I highly doubt he would be getting sued and he'll be like, what's going on here? On Mitchell's side, Billy Mitchell would have to be very clear what exactly he's suing Jobs on.
Yeah. And that ties into what I was going to say, that people on Reddit were, saying things like, oh, yeah, no, guys, don't get it twisted. Billy Mitchell's a bad guy. He cheats, whatever. He's also slimy, whatever. But this was horrible from Carl Jobs because, like Maxwell said, he didn't, reveal the real reason he was getting sued. And so a lot of people were like, as Maxwell said, it was dumb on Carl Jobs' part to do what he did. Carl Jobs kind of deserved it because of what he did. So it was one of those things where people were like, yeah, screw Billy Mitchell, but Carl Jobs, you are also in the wrong here. So yeah,
I can see that, because if I add to that, it's also the thing of, because I was watching some of those Carl Jobs update videos, and then he would make it look like, oh, everything's going great. Thanks everyone for your support. We're going to get through this and all of that stuff. But then it's like, so you are getting people's support without people knowing fully what they are supporting you on, which I feel is deceitful, because people need to be able to say, oh, okay, I'm supporting you based on this fact, where I think you have a case, let me support you. Or, nah, actually, Carl, I don't think you're going to win this case, so I'm not going to put my money into this. Or, no, you deserve this, let me not support you. Or, no, I don't think this is fair, let me support you. So people were supporting him on a wrong assumption or a wrong basis, which I feel like is very, 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 very misleading. And with that stated, it also makes him look suspicious with his journalistic integrity when it comes to other stuff like what's his name?
Gerard.
The completionist. Yes, exactly, Gerard. And if I was Gerard, I would look at this and be like, wait a minute, maybe there's an angle for me to exploit.
Yeah, I completely see that as well.
Because I will be honest, I watch Jobs videos now and then, and he is very opinionated when it comes to certain issues or certain people. And I think that's a dangerous ground to be on, where I feel if I compare him to another journalist in a niche industry, it will be what's his name, Koja, the guy who likes to show scammers and things like that. What the flip is his name? His face is coming to my mind, where he shows Ponzi schemes, like any financial.
Coffeezilla.
Yeah, Coffeezilla is the one. Coffeezilla is far more responsible in how he dispenses the information, where you see Coffeezilla put in disclaimers and stuff like that when he borders into his opinions. He doesn't mash his opinions with the facts. He sticks to the facts, and when he veers into opinions, he makes it clear that, hey guys, this is my thought. I'm not entirely clear on this, or I'm not accusing anyone of this, but this is what I think. Whereas Jobs never made any disclaimers or clarifications or made it clear when he's veering up into the world of opinion. His opinions is very much mashed with his information dispensing.
Yeah, that's true.
But
very, very true.
I feel like that's where now actually being well versed in journalism or having studied journalism makes a difference. Because if I'm not mistaken, CoffeeZilla has a journalistic background, unlike Yobs.
Lol.
Because before you made a highlight of this, I was worried about, maybe this Billy Mitchell stuff will have Yobs be hesitant to now cover certain topics. But after hearing the details of it, I'm like, nah, actually, I think this is probably a good thing where he needs to review or sit down and consider how he gives out information, because Yobs likes to cover a lot of cheaters and people lying and stuff like that, which I think he's doing a good thing for the gaming community. But how he's giving out that information, maybe he needs to sit down and think about it. Because saying one person caused the suicide of somebody else is like, bro, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel about somebody else, you don't at all.
Yep, that is true. So yeah, just to close the chapter on the story, this is what Billy Mitchell said on Twitter, and I quote in a bunch of tweets. He said, and I quote, "Nothing like the smell of victory in the evening air." End quote. He also said, and I quote, "Billy Mitchell always has a plan." End quote. And then he made a cheeky tweet saying, and I quote, "Hot sauce sales have skyrocketed in the last 72 hours." End quote. Because I believe Billy Mitchell has like a hot sauce type of thing. And then he said, finally, and I quote, "Thank you to everyone who supported me. I am grateful." End quote. And on the flip side, this is what Carl Jobs said, and I quote, "I lost. The judge found Billy to be a credible witness and believed his entire testimony. From that point on, unfortunately, there was really nothing that could have saved me. I will now obviously consider my options. I know many of you will be upset with this, and I'm sorry for that. Thank you again for all the support I have received, and I will endeavor to work hard as I can to repay all that you are owed." End quote. So, yep, that is pretty much the story I think that's pretty much the end of the story until something else happens. So, we'll keep you updated. And finally, let me just this is the third episode in a row that I'm talking about this guy, Tommy. You know who that is?
Yeah, Somali.
Yeah, I just can't with this guy. So in the previous episodes I spoke about him. I think it's the third episode in a row, but anyway, I spoke about him, how he's pleaded guilty to a bunch of things, a bunch of charges, 4 charges, or 3 charges, and then they added a 4th one. Well, there's a 5th one, and this is the serious one. Tammy, you actually mentioned it last episode. So this charge has to do with the deep fake situation he found himself in. So for those who don't know, Johnny Somali showed on stream a deep fake video of him kissing a Korean streamer called Bonbon, I believe her name was. And in South Korea, apparently that is a serious no-no. Like, they take that, as a sex crime, pretty much. So, and it's not looking good for him. And some people have said, some legal experts have said that he's going to face prison time just because of this charge alone. So, yeah, it's not looking good for, And there was also another video by a content creator called Atozi where he showed that Johnny Somali, ambushed Ice Poseidon, another streamer, who's also notorious for his own stuff, but he doesn't go nearly as far as Johnny Somali. And Johnny Somali was pretty much pleading and begging Ice Poseidon to try and get him unbanned on Kick, because Johnny Somali, has nowhere else to go stream, because he's been pretty much banned off of everything. And the person he's staying with in Korea, Hank, has said that, hey guys, if you guys can donate any money, because Johnny Somali is broke now and I have to take care of him, and it's hurting me financially and it's taking a toll on me as well. So if you have any money to donate. So Johnny Somali is just desperate now. He's really desperate, and a lot of people are so happy, if not everybody is so happy to see this happen. It's like, finally this guy's going down. So Ice Poseidon pretty much said, look, to Johnny Somali, like, Johnny Somali, you've pretty much ruined live streaming for everybody. He was like, Ice Poseidon was like, I streamed in Japan before you, everything was fine, everything was great, and then I went back after you, and then it was pretty much like I couldn't do anything. Like, it was like everybody was just on edge the whole time.
I'm saying that's good. These idiots shouldn't be going in other people's countries and doing whatever they damn well please, thinking, nah, I have a right, nah, I have a right. Like, nah, conduct yourself. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Don't come in here with your Persian or your Greek or your whatever habits and bring it into Rome.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that's pretty much it on Johnny Somali. He's just been an idiot. He's out of money. He's in deep trouble. Yeah, what do you guys think about the situation?
I don't know why this man's still relevant, bro. Can he like just please be banned, deplatformed? I don't know.
He has been, but
no, but like proper deplatform out of our brains. I don't know.
It will happen. Just give it a bit of time. What I like is, if you think about it, all of these idiotic streamers are slowly dying out one by one. I don't know if it's a thing of society is the one saying we don't have time for your shit, or if platforms are now saying, okay, we need to tighten our rules on these guys. But I really think it's more society than platform. Because Kick, Rumble, Twitch, YouTube, all of those are useless at controlling that content. Those platforms could easily say, you know what, we won't let you guys monetize, but instead they let them go ahead and monetize. So I hold those platforms accountable. And hell, if I was a national government, like from a established country like Japan or something, I would make the companies pay for these individuals so that the companies start putting rules against these type of behavior. Because it's like, if I use Japan as a good example, like illegal anime streaming, they really, really get a hard on about that, about no, you can't do this. They are out there shutting down pirate websites, and not, as far as I know, there have been cases, but for the most part, they don't arrest regular citizens. Sometimes they do, but I don't know how they decide who to go for. But for the most part, they go for the piracy website. So why can't it be the same thing with these social media stuff, that they go tackle the company like, okay, company, if you're going to be encouraging these idiotic tourists to come to our country, deface our monuments, or do these heinous acts in public, we are going to put that charge on you. Best believe if Google's being told, oh, you now have to pay a certain charge or certain prices because you have people on your platform doing these stupid things, Google will be like, okay, YouTube, tighten this up. We cannot be losing money because of one stupid idiot or 10 stupid idiots. Do something about this. It would be taken care of immediately. I honestly don't know why governments who have the power are being beholden to these companies.
Money, though. I don't know.
You know, it probably is money, where it's like, oh, you don't really want to shit the bed with these guys. But it's like, how wimpy are you? How yellow belly are you? How do you have your tail between your leg? All those phrases to talk about being a coward, are you? Like, we've got Trump out here doing the dumbest tariffs in the world, and you scratch your head of how does this benefit you? But he's out there doing it anyway. Other countries could be doing the same thing. The EU could be doing the same thing. These Asian countries could be doing the same thing, which have strong sway. Like third world countries, which don't really have much sway, I can understand them saying we're hurting for cash. This is a cash avenue. But countries which are strong on tourism, which don't need these, let me not even say tourism, but countries which are economically strong, and people might be like, no, but Japan isn't economically strong. Okay, but Japan has trade deals with all of these other countries, and what Japan is a strong region where people actually try to sell products in Japan, so they do have a sway. They've got bigger sway than a Cambodia or a Taiwan or a freaking Rwanda or a freaking Chile. As much as you might say Japan's economy is not that strong, they still have a stronger impact than those other countries I've just listed. They could do something, but they don't. So on one hand, I'm like, nah, you guys deserve the pain that you're receiving from having shitty ass tourists. But on the other hand, I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Why isn't this more straightforward? Because we shouldn't be having Johnny Somalis or Corey. What was that other guy from the UK who the UK government banned him from going on social media for, what was it, a year or 2 years or something?
The guy who was breaking into people's houses?
Yeah.
Mizzy.
That's the one. Like, you've got the government stopping that short. It's like, and that's also one of the things of why I say Johnny Somali. I honestly think Johnny Somali is smart. As stupid as he is, I think he's smart because he picks the countries to go. You don't see him doing that shit in America. You don't see him doing that shit in the EU. You don't see him doing that shit in countries where they're going to be like, nope, we don't have a tolerance for this. You see him doing it in countries where like, please stop. Like, these countries could literally make him stop, but that what's the word? Whatever the expression is when somebody is allowing you to or humoring you. These countries are humoring him. And it's a weak look.
Okay. No, I agree with the fact that if he had done it in the US, probably would have been shot. Most def.
Oh, I'm not even looking at mob justice. I'm just looking at the laws of certain countries will come hard on him, where it's like, okay, you're not doing this shit anymore. But yes, that also reminds me, like, yes, your Eyes Poseidon, whatever, is scared to do certain things. Your Miz, whatever, is currently banned from doing things in the UK. We're seeing the end of Johnny Somali, hopefully. And then we got Jack Doherty, or whatever his name is, also going on the decline. Island Boys, or whatever their name's, also on the decline. So this stupidity, this virus of stupidity is coming to an end, which is, or it looks like it's coming to an end, which is nice.
Dude, the things the Island Boys did was sick.
Yeah, nah, those guys, yeah. That other, what's her name, Lily Phillips or whatever, like, I would sooner follow her antics.
Oh, wow. Hectic. Oh, thanks, bro. All right, moving on to the eSports. I don't have anything. Not yet, at least. Kojo, you got anything?
Yee. So, the Texas Showdown, which is a fighting game tournament, took place from March 28th to March 30th, 2025 in Houston, Texas, as the name implies, Texas Showdown. A whole bunch of video games were highlighted. Some classic ones like, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and all of these old ones. But I'm just going to focus on the big three, being Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, and Mortal Kombat 1. So let's start with Street Fighter 6. In third place was Stealth, second place was Hamad, and first place was Noah the Prodigy. Sick name, by the way.
Bro,
I'm not being sarcastic, that's actually a dope name. So Tekken 8, third place was Wasulu, second place was Sokobi, and first place was Genghis Dawn. And Mortal Kombat 1, third place was Online Kale 213, second place was Dialogue, and in first place, no surprise to anybody, is Sonic Fox again. So yeah, congratulations to those top threes of those games. That's it for my esports news. What about you guys?
Oh yay. Yeah, I got nothing. Max?
Nope, never have.
Oh wait. Well, as you know, folks, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much. Please be sure to check in on the discussion about the Nintendo Direct. We've got some things to say about it. But yeah, catch you guys in the next episode. As always, keep it groovy, like a drive-in movie. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.